So we built a web page for the staff at the BBC to use, and it basically just allows them to work out where they want to go with the story by showing what is the general trend of what's happening, as well as what they think might be coming up. And that's at the high level, but then people want to drill down into the data a bit more. They can see how each state is voting in terms of the raw number of votes and things like that, and analysing the swing and how it's gone from one party to the other, or the swing of what swing is required for one party to take it from the other, sort of thing. And even then drilling down into the county level data as well, we can colour up the counties by which party is leading in there, and that's quite important for VR because we colour up the counties on the maps in VR as well. So at the top level, it's people who are wanting to drive the story of working out how it's going, and which states we think are calling soon, or where the polls are about to close and things like that. So it's a good indicator of where they need to go to next. But then it's also, as states are calling, we can colour up a map and things like that, so that people can see the general trend of what's been happening at a glance, as well as the current state of play at a glance as well. At the data level, we're providing that this time, which is a first for us. And so we've got a system that takes all the data in, and then a separate server that takes all of that data into our VR scenario, and analyses it and structures it ready for it to get put onto the graphics of histograms and line graphs and all of that sort of stuff. When we get the data from AP, it's just in raw XML, and we parse it into our own internal data structures, which allows us to manipulate it, and things like rolling up all of the other parties just into an others, and just isolating the two main parties that we're interested in. And then from that system it comes through into our VR system, which incorporates a lot of historic data that's been put in for previous exit polls over time, and historic results and things, so that we can show that how the results have developed from many years ago up to the current result that's been incorporated this time. What's been really challenging this time is the sheer amount of data that they want to display and they want to show people in VR without making it too complicated, really. So we've got histograms and line graphs, which are the main focus, which appear in the foreground of the set, which Jeremy can walk around and talk about. But then on top of that, we've got supplementary information which kind of helps tell the story, which we can colour up a map on the floor in various different ways. We can show heat maps of demographics, which are a big thing. And then there's a screen that comes up behind Jeremy as well, which is very supplementary. It kind of shows extra information. You can show voting history, or it can show a map of the counties within a particular state and how they've been coloured up this time as opposed to last time, and again with heat maps as well, which is quite good, as well as demographic breakdowns, the profiles within a state of race, gender, ideology, all these different categories that can help tell the story of how a state has voted one way or the other. We've got quite a streamlined workflow, really. It's we've got the editor of the program who kind of decides what story Jeremy wants to talk about this time, so he puts together a sequence of graphics saying, right, we want to bring up the map and then show a histo with this data on and things like that, and he communicates with Jeremy as to how that is going to play out. Once he's built that sequence, he passes it over to the director, and he has access to playing through that sequence of graphics as well. And Jeremy also has a clicker which drives the sequence, and that talks to us to advance to the next graphic every time he clicks. and that can also be overridden by the director. He can take control of the clicks if, just in case the clicker goes down, or if Jeremy doesn't want to use the clicker for any reason. For example, he was holding an iPad one time, so he wanted to kind of have his hands free to do that, so the producer could click for him, sort of thing. Jeremy has a little screen in his eyeline that we can just type in, a few keywords to, visual clues of cues for him to keep him on track of what the story is and things. So we have one other inputter in the gallery doing that as well.